Hello there, and welcome back to Cuphead. So, as it turns out, I had a little bit of a recording mishap, and my most recent recording got corrupted. So, here I am, going through the motions again, repeating what I had just done. So for the next, 2 boss fights, I'm not going to be blind. Just so you're aware. If nothing else, that should make them go more smoothly. Should being the operative word. Knowing this game, even if you know what's coming, it's still pretty difficult. So I'm just going to repeat things as I had done them so it's as authentic as possible. Oh, and if you're wondering how I'm going through this stuff again, it's because I always make backup saves nowadays. I've run into enough issues with recordings failings and saves getting corrupted that that's just kind of my policy now. And it's a pretty good one because it certainly saves my bacon in situations like this, so let's enter World 2, Inkwell Isle. A pretty nice visual change of pace. Something I remarked on when I first entered it. So let's have that equipped. I did a little bit of testing with the Heart Charm, and as it turns out, when you have it equipped, your life point scoring during the stages is still based out of 3, so you effectively have 1 free hit that you can take. And I feel like that mostly makes up for the reduced attack power. So I'll probably be swapping that on and off, depending on whether I want that free hit or the smoke dash. So let's do this one here. This was one of the 2 stages that I had already done. Yeah, I only did 2 in an episode's worth of recording. There's a pretty significant difficulty hike in this world. We'll see if that comes across now that I know what to expect.
This will get red hot. Here goes.
So here we have a nice Egypt theme. And because I forgot to talk to an NPC... Yeah, already I'm making use of that hot charm. Because I forgot to talk to an NPC, I just realized I don't have the alternate mode of fire. The NPC who first gave me the aeroplane gives me a missile alternate weapon option for these stages. I'm not really missing it though because I honestly didn't find it to be all that useful. When you shrink down, it's completely removed, you just have your regular firing capabilities. And honestly, the range was limited enough that even if it did significantly more damage, I didn't really find it all that worthwhile. But that's just me. Maybe it comes in more useful in other aeroplane stages. And I do need to get parries, but I think I have opportunities during the final phase if I recall. I tried parrying those slightly pinkish looking ghosts, but either my timing was off, always possible, or even though they're pink, they're not actually parryable. It's kinda hard to tell at times. It's kind of the issue with making a specific color the signifier for a mechanic you can do. Because then if you use that color in any other context, it can end up confusing the player. Alright, what phase is next? Oh, this one's a fun one. It is Marionette Man. Marionette Head, I guess? Let's use my super to get through this as quick as possible. I remember having a fair bit of trouble with that. Yeah, a good portion of the area is now denied to you thanks to his machine gun fire. And you have bullets to deal with as well as whatever is fired off by the Sultan Hat. You are given plenty of opportunities to get parries though, so that's nice. Okay, so we are on to the final phase now, which is actually pretty rough. I don't think the hands actually have a hitbox, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm always cagey doing that section. So let's get off that super right away, and yeah, it gets really bullet helly here, and I really wish I had saved that free health point. Because I really could have used it, but as long as you move carefully enough, you don't necessarily need it. And it's a knockout. I don't know if I did that quick enough for a perfect time score, but if I did, I might have gotten that in 1. I guess the practice I got trying to get through it the first time really did come in handy. Ah, damn it. Oh, okay. So... it's not how many life points you have that it scores you on. It's how many you've lost. Okay, so that doesn't give me a free health point, good to know. I assumed it did because when I ended up finishing, I got hit multiple times, so I only had like 1 or 2 health points left, but I still saw that it scored me out of 3, so I just assumed that that counted as a free hit. But I guess it really doesn't, in which case the health charm is completely worthless. Because the damage reduction it gives you is pretty significant, as I found out when I tried to use it against this next boss. After I took it off, I had so much more success with her. She just went down so much more quickly. So let's get that out of the way so I can actually get back to being proper blind. It's not too often you find someone wanting to be blind, but hey, here we go. Alright, so here I have... Oh, I forgot to change my weapon loadout. You know, I'm gonna stick with this just to see how it goes for now, but if I end up dying here, I'm gonna go back to the world map just so I can swap back to my regular shot. I found out the pea shooter that you start with was really useful here. At least I remembered to put the smoke bomb back on, which is really helpful for dashing through various things. Oh, someone mentioned in the comments that you do have iframes during your regular dash, and I did confirm that as well in that lost footage. But it is greatly reduced compared to what you have with the smoke grenade, so it's still a really good upgrade. So unless I find another charm that has a really good effect, I think I'll be keeping this on. Health charm just seems mostly worthless. Oh, and I guess I'll just bring this up. One of my main complaints about this fight is the fact that there is no visual animation tell for when those jelly bean soldiers, parryable or otherwise, spawn. There's an audio cue, but that's about it. And that can make it difficult to notice on the fly when they're spawned. And I'm not a fan of that. I realize that that's probably on purpose to make it so that way the right side of the field, second stage onward, that's when they start spawning, is denied to you, or at least is more dangerous than it was previously. But I just don't like that design decision personally. But I can respect that they made it. I mean, it does add to the difficulty, so it serves its purpose. And if you're wondering why I'm not using my super, it's because I want to save it for the final phase. Or just the next phase in general. I don't think I'm quite at the final yet. Yeah, one more mini-boss to go through. Who I'm not going to bother using my super on either because he's really easy. If he actually traveled from one side of the screen to the other, he might be a threat, but because he doesn't, he's kind of a complete joke. He is, in my opinion, objectively the easiest phase. I guess if you have trouble dealing with lots of small projectiles, you might have a bit of a problem, but I don't. And now it's the final phase, and here is why I wanted the pea shooter, because you kind of want range when you're very far away from her. Especially when it suddenly turns into a side scroll like this. You can parry off of these mint candies, which I might try to do just to build up my super once more. But for the most part, I just try and focus on avoidance here because, god damn it, those chasing heads are really nasty. There's not a... Oh, I was like a quarter of a second late with my button press to dash, damn it. If I had gotten that off, I would have gotten through this without taking damage, possibly, although, now that I've taken damage the first time, I think I'm not paying quite as good attention as I should be. Maybe I should stick to the grenade, since it does have, oh, I was close, slightly better range. I'm just straight up missing a lot of my shots here because I'm too far away to actually hit it properly. That's why you want the pea shooter. I'm surprised the smoke grenade doesn't actually have any sort of cooldown on the iframe portion. Because as it is, as long as you don't dash directly into something, you can just repeatedly dash through multiple objects. And it's really handy. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to exit to the map as I said I would. Pea shooter, I feel, is kind of necessary for that final phase. If you noticed, what screwed me over there was the spread shot EX shot, which I am not a fan of. It ends up giving you a significant amount of pushback when you use it, and that's what caused me to fall into one of the heads, or maybe it was the mint candy. I didn't quite see. But yeah, that and the fact that it doesn't have much range either, I really don't find it useful. Compared to the regular shot, which is really good. Just because of how good it is at hitting things. Alright, so let's give this another go and see how it turns out. See, this is what I mean about just being able to spam the smoke dodge as many times as you want, and it making a lot of things so much easier. I'm getting the feeling that that may end up becoming necessary. Right now it's helpful, but I don't strictly need it to avoid stuff. But considering the difficulty hike from World 1 to 2, I imagine that once I get to World 3 and beyond in the finale that I'm probably gonna have to make use of that just to survive. I'll find out when I get there though. Alright, well here at least we get to see off a new phase. Waffle Man. Not too terribly threatening. As long as you stay far away when he splits up, he can't really do much. And even if you are too close, you can end up just smoke dodging through, as I tried, but failed to do there, unfortunately. That's fine though, I'm not going for a perfect score just yet. I'm probably gonna fail in terms of the time anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. I do still want to try and have as much HP as possible for the final phase just because of how rough that gets. I mused before that the game could possibly get bullet helly, and it very much seems to be with these first two bosses in World 2. Or perhaps not bullet helly, but at least having way more projectile density than it did before. Okay, I might still need to get a parry, so I suppose I'll go for that in the final stage just to make sure that my score is as high as possible. Or I could get it now, thank you, Jellybean Man. And not gonna waste the super for the same reason as last time. Yep, as long as you can predict where those tiny gumballs are gonna fall, you basically have no issue there. Okay, auto-scroller time, and that means it's time for my super form. And yep, here's where the pea shooter really comes in handy, as I've said numerous times. Oh, what? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I could have sworn I dodged to the left, but I stuck around on the right side of the screen, and I'm not 100% sure why that is. Oh well. I still have 1 HP, so I can theoretically make it through unless I dodge into the candy like an idiot. Yeah, this final phase is rough. I might not have had too much trouble going against the Djinn again, but against Miss Candyland herself? Ooh, I still have quite a ways to go. Let me try shutting up and see if that helps. It usually does at least a little bit. Alright, first phase done quickly enough. It's a good sign. That's less of a good sign. That's even less of a good sign. God damn it. I'm starting to think now I should just give up on this attempt, just so that way I can have a decent amount of HP for the final phase, but you know what? That's quitter talk. I can do it with 1 HP, totally. Even though I just found out twice that I couldn't do it with 3 HP, so maybe I shouldn't be being overconfident like that, but whatever. Oh, and once again I get to show off a phase that otherwise I would have missed had I won, so that's a good thing. Although not like I wouldn't have had plenty of more chances when I go for the perfect attempt. But yeah, Mr. Gumball here and his little friend aren't too threatening. Unless you have trouble with these weird sort of lazy chase patterns. Okay, I am getting to the final phase rather quickly, which does please me. Go for that parry attempt. If I can get another super, I can probably finish things off much more quickly. Not gonna go for the parry attempts when the head is coming after me, though. I'm gonna wait for safer opportunities, even if that means I don't actually get a chance to, fill up my super. Wow, that was a split-second parry, and thank God for it, otherwise I would have died there. And that saved my bacon. My sugar-coated, chocolate-covered bacon. Ugh. The fact that people actually enjoy that confectionery just completely disgusts me. Chocolate-covered bacon is the grossest thing in the world, I swear. Okay, yeah, I have not been doing good with my time scores for these stages. And that's with having had a little bit of practice beforehand. So yeah, not only a difficulty spike just in terms of completion, but for getting a perfect score as well. Okay, but now at least I'm back to the point where I was before. Hopefully this recording doesn't get corrupted as well. Just gonna skip through the dialogue there. I was reading it beforehand, but I don't think I'm gonna bother voicing it aloud anymore. Just don't see much of a point. Talking to him got me that other aeroplane arms option. And these three are looking for their missing brother to complete their quartet. No idea where he could be though. Oh, and then right over here. This dude tells you how many times you have failed. It must only count actual deaths and not you manually selecting retry, because otherwise my counter would have to be a lot higher. Okay, so let's see what Bebby the Clown in Carnival Kerfuffle is all about. I'm finally back to being blind. Watch it turn out that I have no trouble, and I started with the hardest bosses first. He's definitely gonna come zooming across at some point. I expected him to go off the screen, but no, he stuck around on the right side. How are you supposed to deal with that if you don't have the smoke dash and the copious iframes that it provides? Because the air is denied by these little ducky targets. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about what the game is expecting me to do here. I guess you just have to jump over him while avoiding the ducks, but that seems really brutal. Ooh, I wonder if I can make use of those little flame sacks by dropping them on him. It's a possibility. Oh, I tried to go for the parry, but my movement was just a little bit off, and that screwed me over. Okay, yeah, first phase is definitely going to be the roughest bit here. Let's see if I have an easier time with the second one. Alright, gotta destroy balloon heads. That's not so bad with the spread shot. Oh, other shit to deal with. And that makes things a lot more difficult. I'm not sure what exactly hit me there, though. Maybe something was coming from off screen. Okay, let's see if I can do better on the first phase here. Hey, a parryable projectile right away. I'll take that. I wonder, is there any reason I should be targeting these? Let's see, can I drop that on him? Come on, come on, come on. Oh, of course it doesn't hurt him. That would have been so cool if that was a thing you could pay attention to and make advantage of, but no such luck. Alright, easier time that time, even if I did take a dumb hit towards the end. Let's try stage 2 again. Not so bad at the onset, but then it very quickly gets rough. Okay, yeah, it must have been a dog balloon spawning out of nowhere that hit me last time. Because goddammit, they literally just come out of nowhere. Actually, no, they're not coming out of nowhere. They come out of those nozzles. They just spawn so quickly that it's hard to pay attention to that. At least the balloon oh dear. I'm gonna use my super here and hope to proceed to the next stage. At least the big balloon head doesn't actually have a hitbox that hurts you. Alright, now I got horseshoes to deal with. Let's get that EX shot so I have at least that score filled out if I manage to survive, that is. Yep, pea shooter is definitely recommended here. Damn. Made it to the final phase too, or is that just before the final phase? It's kinda hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, wow, World 1 was the game with kids' gloves on, as it turns out. This is where the game actually starts to be difficult. Oh, damn it, I shot the duck. I thought I still could have parried it, but no such luck. Gotta watch out for that. It's actually an added difficulty in this fight, at least if you're going for a good score, is the fact that the parryable targets disappear very quickly. In previous stages, they've tended to be fairly tanky, but not so here. It's probably going to be the hardest part about perfecting it. At least it means with the dog heads appearing so quickly, they're not too difficult to get rid of. Okay, that's one parry. Just hold my ground here. Maybe go for the super as soon as I get the chance. Please take me to the next phase. Thank you. And I dash right into the one thing on the screen that's hurting me. That's not great. Okay, that attack's not so difficult to avoid. This one's even easier. Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems like the fight gets less difficult as it goes on, if I'm being honest here. Well, at least I have less trouble with the later phases compared to the first two. Unless I'm dumb and just dash into the enemy. That always screws me up. Okay, well I made it to the final phase this time, so that's something. What do you get for me now? Ah, that's always the trouble with moving platforms. It can be difficult to calculate on the fly exactly how much momentum you're going to have. In that case, my forward momentum was reduced somewhat by the movement of the trains, and so I ended up running right into the people experiencing the ride. Oh well. Oh, you tricked me. I thought you were gonna move forward immediately, but no, you halted. You tricky clown bastard. Go back to hell, why don't you? Clowns are from hell, by the way, if you didn't realize. It's slightly more obvious here, but even in real life, that is 100% the case. Oh, fuck you, balloons. Yeah, they're probably the most dangerous thing for me to deal with. Should I use my super to proceed with the fight? You know what, let's do it. Because I'm pretty sure I still damage them even when they're transitioning phases, so I am still making progress. There's no need to hold on to hold off on using my super for the final phase, I think. They might not take damage when transitioning phase is. That was just a really dumb mistake on my part. Okay, I wonder if after I take down this guy, if I'll be done with the... Just gonna restart that. If I'll be done with the carnival theme. I certainly wouldn't mind that considering how much trouble I've been having with it. Wow, I managed to dash right into that rather small object. It would be impressive if it wasn't so bad. Come on, I can do it this time. Alright, second phase quickly enough. I realized... Oh, damn it. Once again, I screwed up my positioning. I realize now that holding my ground during that phase is a good idea. It helps me hit the dog heads easier. Come on, next phase should be soon enough. There we go. Yeah, I always end up jumping too early and that causes me to run into the people. Of course, focusing too much on that caused me to get hit by the horseshoe. Oh, this game really does demand excellence, doesn't it? Okay, well I know not to jump like an idiot here at least. Oh, wait a minute, what? If I remember to, I'm actually gonna have to go back and watch that bit of footage. Cause I don't think I actually touched the boss. But I still touched its hitbox and thus got hurt. Maybe it was just a bare nick. Generally, so far the hitboxes in this have been very well honed, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a rough edge here or there.
A brawl is surely brewing. It's on.
Alright, no dumb mistakes this time, me. You can do great, you can do excellent. I'm giving myself a little pep talk here. See if it helps. God. Apparently it doesn't. You know what? I'm not going for the perfect score, I'm not going to retry. I ought to get to the next phase. I have such a hard time dodging my dashes to avoid a lot of this stuff. See, this is what I mean by standing my ground. As long as I don't get too far off to the left, where I can still see myself, that's definitely the safer option. Now if I can get off a few more parries here so I can do my super, I might be good. Come on, next phase. Next phase? Yeah. And it is a nice, consistent feature that, once you've defeated something, it no longer has a hitbox to touch, or a hurt box, bounding box, whatever you'd call it. So you can actually just pass through them and you'll be fine. A rare bit of lenience on the part of this game. Yeah, the roller coaster combined with these patterns can be a real pain at times. Just gonna focus on avoidance here rather than actual damage. I think that's gonna be the way to do things in this phase. I do like this attack because it gives me a lot of time to get off my spread shot. Okay, final phase again. I only have 1 HP, but I feel somewhat confident. What's going on? Okay, I haven't seen this before. I guess this is the true final phase. I'm gonna wanna okay. That's rather nasty. Come on, super, finish it off, finish it off. Oh, I was probably so close to. Yeah, look at that.
Here's a real high-class bout. And begin!
Wait, what? Oh, my shots.
A brawl is surely brewing. You're up!
Okay, final phase once more. Time for this brutal bullshit again. I get the feeling the spread shot is really good here. Maybe I can take down the penguins before they actually start firing? Yeah, but they are fairly tanky. Come on. Oh, but the issue is that the boss in the center actually ends up soaking up hits even when I go after the penguins. Still though, managed to get through. Yikes. That's gonna be one bitch of a boss to perfect. At least I seem to be doing decently well in terms of time, unlike the previous two. I'm always happy with a B. Okay, so yeah. I'm gonna tackle the rest of World 2 a little later. I need a break, oh. With these sort of fast-paced games, sometimes you just gotta take a little bit of a distance break and calm down. They just end up riling you up so much that if you try and proceed, you're just gonna continue to do worse.